What's up, my hunting brothers and sisters? Today we're going over my process for my food plots. I've been doing it for many years, still doing it. Stay tuned. I'm going to take you from the beginnings to right now, about 3 weeks after planting. All right, so it's been a hot minute since I've done a food plot video. I think it's been a couple of years anyway. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I do these kind of poor man food plots or minimal equipment food plots. It's not total poor man, like no equipment's required, but they're pretty minimalistic in how I approach it. So it is about the middle of July in 2024, and I'm really starting the process. My process, basically, I'm going to break it down real quick for you, is I typically go in and mow these areas in, say, about mid-June, knock a lot of the tall stuff down. It gives it a 2-3 weeks or so to grow up. Then I go in and I spray chemicals and I burn things down. I give it a couple weeks to die off, and then I go in usually somewhere around that first week or two of August, and I spread my my food plot seed depending on what I'm planting, and then I come back with, say, like a weed eater or a mower, and I mow it really low so I've got that thatch that goes down on the seed. So that's basically my process I've been doing for years. The reason I do it that way for a lot of my food plots is because I can't get equipment back there to till up soil. Now, I do have one next to my house, will be part of this video, and that one I can use a four-wheeler type of sprayer, and I do have a small disc that I do, but that's because I have access. But the one we're working on today specifically is basically a throw and grow type of plot, a poor man's plot. So I was in here a few weeks ago before the beans. The beans at the time were only about that tall. They take a lot of abuse at that early stage, and so I was able to drive back there with my tractor and bush hog and mow it. You know, you can pretty much keep the wheels off of the beans for the most part, and they bounce right back. Now the beans are a foot tall or more and definitely can't do that. So everything is all walking, and this farm, when it's corn, it is all walking basically all the time because of the rows of corn coming up. So anyway, so real quick, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to spray. And so basically my basic equipment, I've got a 4-gallon backpack sprayer right here. I bought many years ago. I'm going to say 7 or 8 years ago. I bought it off of, I don't remember, maybe Harbor Freight or something like that. Didn't pay much for it. I believe at the time was $35, maybe $40. I'm sure now in 2024 it's more expensive. I remember on different food plot pages on social media, people said, oh, it's a waste of money, it won't last. I don't know, 7, 8 years later, it's still going strong. I use it all the time. So there's that. I already have a mixture of a glyphosate and a 2,4-D, generic versions of Roundup and 2,4-D mixed up in here with some surfactant. So I'm ready to go. I also bring along a couple jugs. These are old, like one down here is an old chemical spray jug, and the other is obviously a kitty litter jug, and I fill those up with water at home. And those basically allow me to mix up some more chemical if I need to here, because I don't have access to a hose or any source of water here. And again, I've got my generic 2,4-D. It's this D-ester LV4. I buy it at my local Rural King. I'm sure there's other ag stores. If you don't have a Rural King, they got something very similar. And I've got my generic Roundup glyphosate 41%. And again, I get all this stuff at our local Rural King, and some surfactant. This is the HUM AC820. Don't know that it really matters. Some people use Dawn dish soap. It's hit or miss, whatever, but is what it is, and a little measuring cup. So that's it. I mix these up usually about 3 ounces per gallon of the 2,4-D and 3 ounces per gallon of the Roundup. Seems to do a pretty good job. So yeah, there's that. So I'm gonna throw the backpack sprayer on. I'm gonna walk this back. We're gonna spray. If I need more, I'll walk the backpack sprayer back out that's empty. I'll mix some up and walk it back in, rather than carry all the stuff back there for no reason. Whew. So there's that. So yeah, again, minimal impact, minimal cost. In a few weeks, we'll follow this up with me doing some planting, and then we'll follow it up with, you know, the final results. So tomorrow I do plan on jumping on my sprayer 4-wheeler at home and do that one. So that one obviously got a little bit of equipment. You could do the same approach there though. So, all right, here we go. All right, so behind me is food plot that if you follow my channel at all, you've seen this in the past, either food plot videos or me hunting over it. I love this spot. It's just a great spot that a bunch of draws come into. I was in here and I mowed this again a few weeks ago, and you can see there's quite a bit of growth in here, but definitely a lot less than what would have been in here, which is great. There are some spots. I'm not going to spray this whole thing because there's some spots. Basically, what would be the west end of this is mostly clover. It does have some grasses growing up in it and some rye. I'm going to leave that alone. I don't want to kill the clover. I overseed clover like every year, trying to get a bigger and better establishment of it, and it's doing well. I also have a couple lanes that come into this. I've got clover on. I'm starting to establish those, so I'm not going to spray those down. Just let that clover grow. If they get up tall with the grass, it's good. Just over time, that'll go away. So we're gonna spray about, probably 2/3 of this, and we'll come back in a couple weeks. So yeah, here we go. There's no real science in doing this outside of just nice fanning approach. Make sure you kind of just go slow, get everything. I do tend to walk it 2 times. I try and go one direction and then I come back and hit it again another direction. Now, I know somebody will say, hey, you should be wearing a face mask, whatever, protecting your breathing, you know, glyphosate in particular, you know, it's not healthy, cancer causing. I get it. You do you when it comes to your health. I'll do me when it comes to my health. I get it. Probably not the safest. It's not windy at all today, so really nothing's spraying back on me. So again, I'll take my own risks, just as I choose to do with every other aspect in my life. People may or may not agree with it. This is an awesome little tree in front of me in this food plot. There's always a scrape right out in here underneath this tree. So it's a lot of fun to hunt this tree. I got the box blind here to my right, and I got some bigger trees off to my left that I typically hunt out of. I prefer hunting out of those trees. I honestly hate hunting out of a box blind, but I'm starting to get up near the clover, so I'm gonna call it quits right there. I don't want to kill off my clover. I like giving the deer a variety of things to eat. There you go, we wrapped that up. It took a grand total of maybe 45 minutes, and that included me walking back out to refill my tank up and with chemicals and water, get in here and spray it another direction. So yeah, it worked out pretty well. Did not touch the clover areas. I would rather control those with the clover growth itself and coming in and doing some mowing and weeding. I mowed all that stuff when I mowed everything down. When I come in and weed eat all this dead stuff, what's going to be dead, I will go in and I will take the weed eater above the tops of the clover and hit the grasses, and that'll allow more sunlight on that clover. The clover's pretty thick, so and then just keep overseeding it. And that's all I really do with those. But yeah, so there we go. One thing I forgot to mention is there's a lot of scrapes in this area. Around the big tree I hunt out of over here, the trails leading in. I'll often go to those popular scrape trees, or if I see one that looks like it'd be a good one for a mock scrape, I'll go and I'll spray about a 3 to 4 foot diameter circle right there, kill everything good. And then I'll come back in later and I'll dig them up with a rake, maybe put some tarsal gland scent and stuff like that in them and get those scrapes going. And a lot of times I just find if I go in and rake them up and get the thatch out of them, the deer just start hitting them. So yeah, there you go. I'm out of here for another couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and we'll get in here and seed it. And tomorrow we're gonna hit the other food plot with probably the big sprayer. So stay tuned. All right, so we are going to spray the food plot next to my house. As you can see, my house is right back over here. Anyways, I've had this food plot for 15 years or whatever. The bulk of it behind me is clover. There's some grasses mixed in. I really don't care. It's just kind of a nice blend. Deer are in here all the time, especially in the fall. But I usually plant a buffer strip this year, and I do that in spring. This year I couldn't. Life just got in the way for me this year. It was horrible. Life was horrible. It was just horrible busy. So all I'm going to do this year is I'm going to burn down this buffer strip, and I'm probably going to just come back and put cereal grain rye in here. And then way down there at the end, there's probably about a 1/4 acre. I'm going to burn that down, and we'll put some brassicas in that in a few weeks. So this I'm going to do with my sprayer on my four-wheeler. I got videos on that. It's a Femco sprayer. It's been a great sprayer since I bought it during the pandemic. It's been great. Whatever's left in that from spray, I'm going to do the same spray mix as I did the pump sprayer. I'm going to put in my pump sprayer because I got a couple small food plots in the woods. I need to spray those down. So that's it. We're going to get spraying. And then we'll plant in a couple weeks. All right, everybody, it is the first week of August, and it is time to plant my food plots. I got a lot going on in the next week, so would really like to wait maybe like 5 to 7 more days. But one of the beautiful things about doing this today is later tonight and all day tomorrow, we have got rain in the forecast. So I'm going to plant now. It's not going to hurt anything in the end. Typically, I like to shoot for that second week of August, but this is what we're going to do. So first stop is my little secluded food plot. This is one that in the earlier part of this video I was spraying. I was mentioning I'm going to come in and do some weed eating. So how we're going to do this, I'm going to run you through my equipment that I'll have laid out here on the tailgate of this truck. All right, so to start, here's what we're going to be putting down out in this food plot. We're going to use about half of this bag of Grandpa Ray Frosty Delight. As you can see, this has got some brassicas, kale, radish, rutabaga, turnips. I've been using Grandpa Ray's stuff for several years. It's zero affiliation, but it always grows really well, and I've been very pleased with the results. I'm going to do this in the area that does not have the clover. In the overall food plot, including where I put the Grandpa Ray's, and in the clover, and in the trails leading up to it, which have some clover base, I'm going to put in some cereal rye. Just really helps fill in the gaps. The deer really like it. I'll actually put this down probably 2 or 3 more times throughout the course of the season, just to allow different stages of growth as it goes. I'll put all this down with my Extreme blower spreader. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you know this is what I use. I love this thing. It's got a little hopper on the top, which is actually in here. You put that in there and you pour your seed in. This contains in it everything. I got a slide gate to monitor my seed flow, and I've got it on my handy steel blower here. You can put this on any blower. Love this thing. I've been using it for, oh goodness, probably 7 or 8 years, and it's great. And then finally, we are going to finish it off with a weed eater. Now, the last couple of years, I've been using my Greenworks 80-volt weed eater rather than a gas one. I really love this thing. It runs. I don't have to worry about a small engine being finicky. I've got 2 of these 80-volt batteries, and I'll probably use about 1.5 batteries worth just based on my past experience. I love the Greenworks 80-volt platform. It's been very solid, and it just plows through everything. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna have to hoof it all by hand back through this bean field all the way back to this food plot, get this one wrapped up, and we'll go back to my other property and hit a couple little wooded food plots and my one that's out in the open where we'll break out a small tractor with a small disc on that one. But this is the poor man's method right here. It is low cost, low impact. I actually love it. I've had great results with it all these years. Let's get this done. All right, well, we're done. Seeding it took all of, I'm gonna say 10 minutes. Weed eating it, an hour. Almost 2 batteries. It's all done. A lot of sweat. I remembered the second most important thing, bug spray. Forgot the first most important thing, water. So on my way home, stopping to get some water. But anyways, I'm gonna flip this around so you can see it. So you can see, basically I weed eated everything in here. And what that does is it lays thatch down, but also you can see there's some thatch down here from like, oops, from like a previous mowing. Get the camera down here. You can see there's thatch down here from a previous mowing. Smacking around with the weed eater, weeding stuff down, knocks all that little seed down in there. So you get that seed down in that bed. And then the clover area over here as we walk over, sorry, there's a lot of tall grass and stuff in here. I weed eated all this about mid shin high. And what that does, you can see there's a ton of clover down in here. I hope, there you go. I'm sorry, I'm wearing sunglasses. There we go. You can see a ton of clover down in there. That opens those clover tops up to the sun. And allows them to grow pretty quickly in here. Plus I put some rye in there. So hopefully the end result is all that fills in really nice. In the past, I mean, I seeded this one time really good with clover, and then I've overseeded with clover frost seeding twice. Sorry, I'm out of breath and hot. And it's really starting to fill in, so I'm real happy with it. Time to get out of here and go tackle the other 2 after I get some water. All right, so here we are. Clean shirt, dried off, drank a couple bottles of water. Anyways, so behind me here is a new area that I just cleared out this year. and I'm gonna plant it to mainly a clover base. I don't know how well it's gonna take off this year. Don't care. I just want to start getting something established. So I'm gonna put something from Grandpa Ray's called Logging Trails. Again, no affiliation whatsoever, but this grows in even the worst soil conditions. I've had good luck with it in the past, and that's what they promote it for on their website. But it's got some meadow fescue, some Festolium, creeping red fescue, red clover, owl's like clover, white Dutch clover, and ladino clover. Anyways, can't really talk right now. But yeah, so I'm just going to broadcast it in. There's really not much to thatch here. These clover seeds are so small they fall right on through. I'm going to top it off with some cereal grain rye because that stuff grows on everything, including concrete. So get this thing going, and then I'm going to move on to another little plot that's I've had some decent luck with clover on in the past, and just continue to add more every year. So that's the plan. All right, let me explain what's going on here. So this is a big food plot I've got right out here. Actually, it's big bottom part of a bigger food plot that goes way up there. All that you see up there is mainly clover based. Sorry, I'm filthy, sweaty, and disgusting. Anyways, this happens to be next to my house. The reason I have this plot here is that my leach field is out in here, and I already mow a ton. And so when I bought this place 15 years ago, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna turn this into a food plot. I don't hunt this, but there are deer and turkeys in this thing all the time. So this is just my way to give back to them. So again, clover based up here. It's got a lot of grasses and other things in it. I got my little disc behind the tractor right now. So I'm gonna disc all this up, okay? And then I'm going to put that Frosty Delight in this. Probably put a little bit of the rye, cereal rye in here. On this edge up here, I'm going to put cereal rye. Usually I put a buffer in there, like a tall Egyptian grass or sorghum or whatever. This year, just life this spring got away from me. I didn't have a chance to. So I'm just going to put cereal rye up and down this strip. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the tractor to disc it all up real well. And then I'm going to get in here with my blower spreader, and I'm gonna seed this with that. I can control it pretty well, get a good distribution, and so yeah, that's it. All right, so yeah, this isn't a poor man's plot, but again, that's my rationale with this plot here. I don't hunt this plot. This is just a way to give back, and I got less yard to mow. It takes about an acre away from what I would have to mow normally. So there we go. All right, and just like that, we're done. So a few hours of work, a lot of sweat, a lot of bug spray, too little water. Back to get some water in just a second. But they're all done, they're all planted. Rain's coming tonight and all day tomorrow. So hopefully this stuff starts growing. So we're gonna check back with this, with these plots in about 4 weeks and give you an update. And so yeah, there we go. Stick tight for the update. All right, so here we are. We're back in this little secluded food plot. It's been, I think, right about 3 weeks since I planted this. I didn't check the dates, but as you can see, I got everything back here coming up very nicely for 3 weeks in. And as I spin around here, you're gonna see my clover. This area here is established clover that I've overseeded probably 2 or 3 times the last 3 or 4 years. Really coming in dense. Last time I was in here with that weed eater, I took the tops off this taller grass. And you can see what it's done is it's allowed that clover to really come up. But these brassicas out here are just looking outstanding. So we're going to probably in about a week or so, I'll come in here with some urea right before a rainstorm. It's supposed to be hot for the next week or so with no rain. So I'm gonna wait to get in here right before a rainstorm, put some urea down on this and my other food plots, and then this stuff will just boom, it'll blow up. So we'll check the others here in just a minute. All right, so we're in here on this little area that I cleared out in the woods. Never had a food plot here before, and I cleared it out this spring, sprayed it, mowed it, sprayed it, and I came in here with a logging road, a clover-based food plot mix and then put some rye on here, and the rye is really coming up, and I can see little clover starting to come up. So this is going to be a work in progress food plot for the next, 2 or 3 years. But I'm going to show you here some of it that's coming up. So this is like no maintenance. I put zero money into this thing. So I will come back probably in a week or so. We get before some rain, and I'll hit this with some urea. It's been, again, like 3 weeks since I planted this. So check this stuff out. You can see all the rye and had these little clovers and stuff coming up. And it's this way across the entire plot. All coming up in here. This is going to be really sweet. All right, so we're in another food plot that I literally did nothing to. Mosquitoes are terrible. Anyways, you can see down here, this is all green. This is always established with some grasses, some rye and stuff, and there's some clover in there. But all this dirt that's right here, this is hit or miss every year, but I've done nothing. And we got rye and we got some clovers and stuff growing up. I'm going to show you down this lane here. So look at this lane right here. All I did, I just hit it with some chemicals. And you can see all of the rye and all the clovers and stuff coming up in here. This is crazy on this lane. That all leads back into that dirt area. I got a little down dead tree here that I need to deal with. Pitch that out of the way. But yeah, this is all good. There's a spot right back here. It's traditional scrape. I need to come in here and open that up as a mock scrape. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you can do that you have no money in doing any of this stuff. Literally the cost of seed, the chemicals I put down, I'd be shocked if there was $10 in that. This is dirt cheap stuff you can do, folks. All right, so this is the food plot where there's actually some money invested, I guess. I disked this up with my tractor, my 4-foot disc. But again, this is a hunting plot. This is actually next to my house. I just do it for the deer, and so I don't have to mow as much. But you see all these brassicas are coming up great in here. It's just a field of green in here. I did overseed a little bit of rye in here to mix in with it. And I'll hit this with urea in probably another week or so, once we get rain. So it's blazing hot. So anyways, so that's it, guys. Really, that's all there is to it. I've done these food plot videos for many years, but you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to have a lot of big equipment to do this type of stuff. I've done this plot right here as just a throw and mow, literally. But when you got a disc, you just disc it up. It makes it kind of easy too. So there's that. I don't know what else more to say. Thanks so much for watching. I hope your deer seasons are great this year. Get out there, enjoy it, whether you're into food plotting or doing whatever. Just get out there and enjoy it, man. It's deer season. It doesn't need to be all this BS of private land versus public land or food plots or no food plots. Just go do what makes you happy. Stay safe and God bless. It's a new day in the outdoors.